Today's show, this is huge breaking news. It's finally been passed. They have been asking for it for a long time. And after 2 assassination attempts, Trump is finally getting the protection he needs. Let me know what you think. We've got all the details for you on how things are going to change moving forward for Trump and for the rest of the political candidates. Because again, too, regardless, our elected officials need to be safe. We also have where things are really heating up in Springfield, Ohio. This is really bad. The officials are now coming out. Everything that you heard has been true when it comes to the Haitians, a lot of the cats, dogs, all that crazy stuff. It's all true. They were trying to cover it up. The administration sent them there and literally sent them on a bus. They dropped them off, and that's it. It's really bad. It looks really bad on the Biden-Harris administration. Also, the former Border Patrol chief has now accused the Biden-Harris administration of illegally silencing him and his team from allowing them to grow the border protection. He said terrorists have slipped in through the border. We have no idea where they're at, and this is not good. So a lot of breaking news today. Just want to say thank you to everybody that is watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button so we can serve you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, it really does help to grow the channel. Just want to say thank you to all of our new members of the channel. If you want to join the True Life News family, the links are in the description. And thank you to everybody that has blessed me and my family with the Super Chat donation. We are so grateful. But this is huge. We're going to jump right into it. Let's go.
Department of Defense communications satellites, and of course the nuclear launch codes. But within the last 40 minutes, the House voted unanimously, 405 were in the chamber to 0, to give presidential candidates the same protection as presidents. So candidates obviously won't have nuclear launch codes, Department of Defense communications, but they will have the exact same protection going forward if it passes the Senate, which it's supposed to, and if the White House, if the president signs it, which it sounds like he would. Harris.
All right, David Spunt, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So, Pete, let's talk about some of the deficiencies that we know of at the Secret Service. We know they're down at least 1,500 employees, and we found that out at the first hearing and only hearing, with now resigned Kimberly Cheadle atop the food chain at the Secret Service. Now we have the man who took her job about to speak, and what we know now is that they've not fired anybody. They've sidelined a few people.
They've sidelined a few people, and they've slow-walked a lot of other people on Capitol Hill that we've heard.
Tracy J. Norby, thank you so much for this blessing. Everybody, show Tracy some love in the chat. She is a real one. Let's go.
Recently, who simply believe the public deserves to know. And Ronald Rowe, he had a big opportunity out the gate, and I think he's missed that opportunity big time. He had an opportunity to come out and be he became more of a defensive company man too early. We'll see what this investigation says. You also have an agency facing the same things I reveal in my book, War on Warriors, which is CRT, gender stuff, going on inside, how they're picking and how they're processing, who they're hiring and who they're promoting. That should have nothing to do with Secret Service. Only should be a meritocracy focused on that. So this report is overdue. The attention, as you said, should have been on this and stayed on this. And I'm glad Capitol Hill has done that. I still don't have much faith that the Secret Service will be honest about how deep the failings are, though.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Molly, it is unreal, surreal to think that we're not focused on the first assassination attempt of the nation's 45th president, and now we have a second one. So I don't want to get us too far afield where we lose sight of the importance of things. God forbid there be anything else happen. What do we just lose sight of what happened?
And just remember, he has presidential secret level service now, but they still are investigating because Secret Service did not follow protocol when it came to the golf course. They did not follow protocol in sweeping the golf course or using drones to make sure there was nobody out there. This is really bad. Check this out.
Months ago. And that's why it's been so frustrating to see the first look into the first assassination attempt, which was so important because the idea there would be to get to the bottom of things quickly to ensure that you don't see another assassination attempt. And before we even have this press conference, we see the rifle coming through the fence line in Florida. And you have to ask, was this assessed quickly enough to know what needed to be done to ensure that it didn't happen again? Because it has happened again. There's a second attempt that was already made on the former president's life. Now, it's nice to hear that they're talking about money and there's a little bit of agreement going on that things need to change. All well and good. But the question is, when do you get to the level where it's check the Bush's level of involvement in protecting this former president and any candidate? Because it would be really horrific for the country to have something happen. And that's the point of, exactly. And that's the point of getting to the bottom of this quickly and not still waiting for answers. Many of the answers have come from Congress, from whistleblowers, and that needs to change as well.
Yes,
from people's
big
cell
time.
phones who thought they were just going to a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
The worst part about it is the only reason we know a lot of this stuff is because of whistleblowers, is because of leaked documents. That's how you know they're trying to cover something up.
Now they have evidence on their phones, so on and so forth. You know, the thing that really disturbs me, you mentioned the money. So, Cheryl, 40% of resources for the budget of the USS Secret Service is going to actually protecting people. This is what I learned from FBI's Chris Swecker last hour. He said that there's a lot of duplication and overlap with the FBI and other agencies for the other 60%. Where that money's going. So it all should be going to protecting everybody because other agencies could do where they're putting 60% of their money right now.
No, but Kimberly Cheadle blames the staffing issue, saying that we're short 1,500 agents. Well, you've got the budget. Like, they've got a $3 billion plus budget right now.
Right there.
And we learned in an interview from Secretary Mayorkas, he wants more money. The answer is to throw more money at the problem. That is not the problem. It is the initiatives within the agency. It's also poor management and poor structure. And they do need new technology. I will say that. I would like to see them get better technology equipment, and that's part of the ask in the budget request from Mayorkas, and better transportation services. But honestly, if this was a company, and this is the way I look at a lot of government agencies and my role that I play on Fox Business, I'm telling you something, go to the top. This all starts from the top, and that is Mayorkas. And this is a management failure. So there's some great agents. There's a lot.
Let me tell you this. It doesn't cost more money to just go and walk the perimeter with a couple of guys over a golf course. It don't cost more money, but that's what we're dealing with is leadership problems.
Great agents out there. And I was so glad that former President Trump, when he was on Gutfeld, thanked the amazing agent that caught that rifle.
100%.
Yes.
It's amazing. I mean, so these guys, these are amazing individuals. They work really hard, but I think they're being mismanaged. I think it's a staffing problem.
And I've often wondered why they don't bring some veterans back from the United States Secret Service and their experience, even if it were just on a short-term, part-time basis. Bring them back as consultants so we can do better. They broke their promise when they said they were doing the first investigation so it wouldn't happen again. As Molly pointed out, they were wrong. They broke their promise. All right, so Chris Swecker called it the way that they're, from the FBI, Chris told me, the way they're handling this has been clunky, and that it's a hot wash investigation, just like nothing to see here.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this. Senator Blumenthal said what he has learned about the happenings of Butler, Pennsylvania will leave you shocked and appalled. Those are the words of a Democratic senator. I believe that's the case. Look, we're going to hear about accountability today. That's laughable because Ronald Rowe was the deputy for Kim Cheadle, who was the head of the Secret Service during Butler, Pennsylvania. Kim Cheadle wasn't fired. Kim Cheadle got to resign and go off to wherever she's going to go, probably a great private sector job. The facts are this. Why did Donald Trump not have presidential level protection to begin with after one assassination attempt?
Exactly.
I don't believe he did, because if he did, he would have had an emergency response team of dogs searching the bushes for people. There would have been a counter surveillance unit looking at the side streets, making sure that no one came in. And I am sick of hearing this word from Ronald Rowe. We keep hearing about a, quote, paradigm shift. During Monday's news conference, coming out of Butler, I have ordered a paradigm shift. Well, your paradigm shift allowed a guy to get 500 feet from the sitting president, or former president, I should say, with a rifle, with snacks from 1:59 a.m. to 1:31 p.m. And today he's expected to use those same words. He's directing a paradigm shift. Well, here's the question. Does Donald J. Trump have time to wait for your paradigm shift? The answer appears to be no.
Yeah. Pete, I want to get last words. You know, we talked about maybe some more technology, what Cheryl had said. I understand from what the administration has said and what the Secret Service are saying, now Trump has the exact same protection as Biden. So he would have those drones and all that technology at what are your thoughts about that? Shouldn't they have been there before?
Exactly. But does he? We all ask that question, but does he really? And did they really dig into whether or not there was animus and pushback to the request for additional resources from the Trump team before that first assassination? That deserves to be known.
Yes.
Remember the initial denials from the Secret Service? Right? Oh, no.
That is probably the most important thing right now. That the Trump team knew, they requested, they were denied, and 2 assassination attempts happened.
They had exactly what they wanted. Well, no, they didn't. And every time you ask, you realize there were things that the Trump team requested which they did not receive, or people who were on scene who were not Secret Service agents, they were HSI. So will we get a full accounting of how they were treated he was treated like a second-class candidate before that? We deserve to know those answers. There needs to be accountability for those decisions back then.
You know, one good receipt on how we know they weren't honest with us in the beginning is that they now have those in place.
Exactly.
Yes, that's the big one, because let me tell you this. This is scary right now. We don't know what's going to happen. Our prayers are that Donald Trump stays safe. But let me tell you this. When I see this in the chat, right now there's 3. I've asked the question, do you believe Trump will be safe with full presidential detail? 344 of you have voted. 51% say yes. 49% say no. That's bad. We should be able to have more confidence in our Secret Service to be able to protect a former president and the leading candidate in a presidential election year, but that's where people are at. And look, more people voted, and now it's 50-50. This is scary. And to top it off, listen to this. This is even crazier.
All right, getting back to the other stuff. So the other day,
Sorry, I had it on fast forward.
I told you about, without giving away intricate Secret Service details and knowledge about security, which obviously I would never do, I told you that it's ridiculous that the Secret Service did not sweep the golf course first before Donald Trump went to the golf course in West Palm Beach. Why you would not sweep a site your protectee is going to be at for bad guys, bombs, explosives, and environmental disasters like a sinkhole on the 8th hole or whatever is just Security 101.
Exactly.
The way the Secret Service works, and anyone else works, and this is not giving up any secrets, folks, everybody knows this, is you post an area first. Hey, send your guys to the golf course. You then send a team in to sweep it for tactical threats, which this guy was, possible medical emergencies. Hey, it's really hot out here, guys. We may want to bring some electrolytes. Chem bio threats. You get your chem bio detection equipment. Did somebody just plant some kind of radiation device? IEDs, you sweep it for bombs. Airborne threats, you set up a big air picture. Fire, geologic stuff, is there a sinkhole? This is the kind of stuff you do. I used to call it TMCIAF, Tactical Medical Chem Bio IED Airborne Fire. That's what I live by. One of my friends in the service called it the Big Six. You post it, you sweep it, and then you hold it. The Secret Service didn't post it, they didn't sweep it, and they sure as shit didn't hold it.
No, not at all.
A bunch of us were scratching our heads. I had a friend of mine, NYPD detective, friend of mine, lifelong friend, not just like knew him a long time. This guy worked in TERU, their technical assistance research unit that puts up cameras. He's like, how the hell did they not have cameras on the fence line in this place? I know, because they didn't want to.
No.
Here's Josh Hawley on Jesse Waters, and Jesse Waters has been doing an amazing job. Jesse's a friend, and he's not letting this case go at all. They got specials going on about it, Fox Nation. Waters is, I don't know if it's a personal interest he's taking in it, but Jesse Waters is breaking news almost every night. He had Josh Hawley on, Republican senator from Missouri. Here's Hawley confirming what I told you when this happened on Monday. There was no sweep at all. Why not? Producer Jim, why didn't they sweep it? That's correct. Because they didn't want to.
Do y'all realize what he just said, how dangerous that is? Somebody could have planted a radiation device, an IED. They could have had something out there like that. Like what we're talking about is Trump has been in danger for a long time. And thank God he's finally going to get presidential treatment. But thank God something didn't happen before.
Watch Josh Hawley confirming what I told you.
Well, what we've heard, Jesse, from new whistleblowers who've come forward about this second assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life, and here's what they have told us. That golf course that the president was playing. Secret Service have guarded that course many, many times. And what the whistleblower says is protocol calls for Secret Service to station agents along the places in the course that are known vulnerabilities. I want to emphasize the service has guarded this course many times. They know where there are vulnerabilities. They normally station agents there ahead of Trump's appearance on the course, but they apparently did not do that this last weekend. And the whistleblowers tell me that's strange. That's out of protocol. It's not even clear Secret Service swept the perimeter before Trump took to the course. Also a breach of protocol. And they want to know why, and so do I. I think the Secret Service deserves to give us answers.
Can I read something to you from another whistleblower friend of mine? I got to be careful. You can't see this thing on, right, guys? Okay, forgive me for turning my head. I'll get close to the mic, but obviously I want to keep this Secret Service agent's name confidential. This is from an actual agent talking about the course and exactly what I just told you. Why the hell they didn't post and sweep the course in advance is, again, an example of pure managerial, absolute incompetence, period. Here's a quote. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yes.
I've worked that course several times with Donald J. Trump, and I know exactly where the subject was hiding. We see the press there all the time. Makes me wonder why there was no press there this time.
Ooh.
Goes on. Perhaps the mole is in the press pool. They're well aware of Trump's movements and schedule as well. That doesn't answer the question of why it wasn't posted, though. I'm just reading to you what a very experienced agent has passed on to me. They knew about that vulnerability, and so did the press. And there was nobody there except for one person, an alleged assassin with a high-powered rifle. You tell me again if my Monday show was crazy. There is a mole somewhere, folks.
Ooh.
Is it in DHS? Is it in the Secret Service? Was somebody talking out loud in a restaurant in the press corps and this guy heard him? There is a mole somewhere. There is no way that guy just randomly picked that spot at that time without some insider information. Occam's razor dictates that is an absolute bullshit theory.
Sorry, y'all.
Random. And if you believe that, I'm really sorry you're stupid. I can't help you.
That is crazy. Like, it all makes sense now. Again, too, if they knew it, they knew that there was these vulnerabilities. They knew that and had been there before. They had done this detail before. Like, I 100% believe there's a mole. Somebody's compromised. And this is what I love too, because again, too, you not only got a lot of people looking at this like never before. He's got the presidential treatment. We've also got Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, who is now looking into this big time. E. Blackmon, thank you so much for joining the True Life News family. Everybody show E some love in the chat. Check this out.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is with us, launching a state probe that to the attempted assassination of President Trump. Governor, great to have you. So we know the Department of Justice has been weaponized. I don't think anybody really disputes that. Even most legal scholars see that for what it is. And I think Donald Trump in the end is going to be successful in that effort. But with that said, you don't have confidence in the federal government and the weaponized DOJ and their ability to do the job. Tell us why.
Wow.
Well, first, Sean, we have violations of Florida law, attempted murder. There are also a number of potential violations across multiple jurisdictions. Just as a matter of course, Florida's serious about upholding its laws. When people break them, they face the music. That's just the way we do it. Then you also have this other question. In addition to making sure you throw the book at the suspect and that he serves in jail for the rest of his life, which is the appropriate punishment, how did this happen? Where'd this guy come from? How did he end up in the state of Florida? How did he end up burrowed in those bushes in a part of that golf course perimeter, which is the most vulnerable location when you're playing that course? And I've played the course when Donald Trump was president. So when security was at its
Are you kidding me? The most vulnerable point of the entire course, and they didn't even check it first? If they would have checked it first, they would have found him. Something's going on.
I played that course. You have the 5th hole, 6th hole, 7th tee box. That's all right on the tree line that is right in front of a road. And that would be the place that people would do. And yet this guy was able to burrow in there for 12 hours and almost get off a shot. And hats off to the Secret Service agent that engaged him before he was able to do it. But he was in a place where he shouldn't have been. So I think that there's a lot of questions about that. And the state of Florida, that was not our responsibility. That was obviously the Secret Service's responsibility.
Yeah.
So we don't have any agencies that are going to try to pass the buck or anything. We just want to get to the truth, and we want people to know the facts.
The agents around the president were heroic, amazing. I don't have enough positive adjectives to say about them. Sheriff's Department, under your jurisdiction, they were amazing. Local police, they were amazing. Where the screw up came is you have the most vulnerable area of that golf course, that treed area around the holes you mentioned. Mm-hmm. And this is the area that is well known to be vulnerable because that's where paparazzi will hide to get videos or pictures of the president playing golf. And why they did not sweep that treed area is inexplicable to me and in many ways unforgivable. It allowed a guy with an AK-47 with a scope on it to get 300 plus yards from the president, probably closer by the time he took the shot.
Wow.
And it was after Butler where somebody got on a roof 130 yards from the president. Now, anyone with marginal shooting skill, that's the equivalent of a tap-in putt, Governor.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, clearly Butler, that roof was a prime location for somebody that wanted to pull off an attack. And they left it vacant, and we know what happened as a result of that. And then on the golf course, I remember the security when Donald Trump was president was obviously very significant. And when you're playing on that course, there's dogs sniffing, holes ahead, behind you, you name it. It's a massive undertaking. And when you're doing that, I remember thinking, being on the 5th green or on playing the 6th hole, I'm like, man, you have all this security, but yet there's a very busy street, literally like 10 yards behind you when you're there. I was like, that is something. And I thought to myself at the time, I'm like, well, obviously they probably have some people that are scoping out on that street and whatnot, because literally someone could just pull over their car, hop out, and then they're right there in the hedges. So I remember thinking that back then when he had the full presidential armada of security. So in a situation like this, coming 2 months after Butler, man, that's got to be the place that you would think could potentially pose some risk. And so, yeah, we need answers to that. We also need to know more about this guy, Ryan Routh. I mean, he's got a very eclectic background. He's been in and out of trouble with the law. Whose radar was he on? Now, he's not a Florida resident. He's a North Carolinian, but he ends up in the state of Florida. So our folks here deserve answers to these questions. And the American people writ large deserve answers to these questions.
This is how bad it is. That guy that tried to assassinate Trump has been arrested 100 times, over 100 counts. Even with there was one count where it was mass what is it called? Mass destruction, like huge bombs things, like just could have done some real damage, and yet he still served no jail time. I'm telling you, there's somebody behind him that's going on, and what you're about to see next just adds to the fire. You can't make this stuff up, because no matter what, it's real. People are feeling it, and as much as the Democrats or a lot of these people try to hide it, and they denied it even in the debate, it is right here, right in front of your face. What you're about to see, it's real.
And it's bringing the town to its knees. The tidal wave of migrants are struggling to assimilate, leading to deaths, displaced residents, and surging insurance rates. They're also diving headfirst into the welfare system. Half of Springfield's Haitians have already enrolled in Medicaid. The only person who seems to care about the Americans in Springfield is Donald Trump.
This is a little beautiful town. No crime, no problem. 32,000 illegal immigrants come into the town, 32. So they almost doubled their population in a period of a few weeks. Can you believe it? And
Wow.
you know what? They've got to get much tougher. I'm going to go there in the next 2 weeks. You may never see me again, but that's okay. Got to do what I got to do. Whatever happened to Trump? Well, he never got out of Springfield. We're getting them out of our country. They came in illegally. They're destroying our country. We're getting them out. They're going to be brought back to the country from which they came.
Now, while Trump's tackling the issue head on, Democrats and the media aren't interested in the town's suffering. They're just interested in winning the election. The left continues blaming Trump for bomb threats, but Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says the threats have been hoaxes from overseas. And if that's the case, why are the feds letting foreigners interfere in our elections? Foreign actors calling in bomb threats against American infrastructure, and we find this out from a Mike DeWine press conference? Something's not adding up. Residents have been complaining about the 15,000 Haitians well before it caught Trump's attention, but the media didn't care until they could turn it into the town's plight into a political attack.
They have pledged to carry out the largest deportation, a mass deportation in American history.
Yes?
Imagine what that would look like and what that would be.
This, as hypocritical as she is saying this, I wish somebody would have yelled out, well, you mass imported them, over 10 million into the country. What's wrong with the mass deportation?
Well, that's exactly what Americans want. A majority of the country wants mass deportations of illegals. And that's especially true in Springfield. Vivek Ramaswamy hosted a town hall there today.
We have city officials that live right here in Springfield and have not set up a meeting like this.
There simply are too many mass migrants here in this town, and they're too richly subsidized. It's pushing people out of their homes. It's pushing people out of jobs.
They have not assimilated. They do not know the culture. They do not know the language. What is happening to our kids is not fair.
Former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy joins me now. Hey, Vivek, and hi to everybody there in Springfield, Ohio. We love you.
He's actually in Springfield.
What have you been hearing from the people of this great town today?
Well, the first thing I saw, Jesse, is people are hungry for open conversation here. We had this event. It was initially supposed to be small. We expanded it. Turns out we had a venue capacity of a few hundred people. It was about 2,000 RSVPs. People were just hungry to have their voices heard. They've been told to basically shut up, sit down, do as you're told for too long.
Wow.
And I think people were just hungry to be heard. Were there some moments of tension? Yes, there were. Did everybody agree with 100% of what I had to say? No, they didn't. But I do think this is how we're going to get our country back, which is we're going to have to be able to talk to each other as citizens. And the ultimate blame lies at the feet of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who created these border and immigration policies that are causing places like Springfield, a place where I spent a lot of time as a kid, to now suffer. That's sad, but it doesn't have to stay that way.
I didn't
and I
know
think
that.
the residents tonight actually had a lot of good, pragmatic ideas if people are just willing to actually listen to them. And I think we tried to do that tonight.
What were some of the pragmatic ideas? Do they want deportations? Do they want more government assistance? What exactly is the direction?
Yeah. I mean, some things are very pragmatic in terms of even the driver's license and whether or not you get a driver's license. If you're above the age of 18, you don't have to actually go through a field test. Well, that would solve a lot of the traffic problems. But you want to think about the ultimate answer. People who came to this country under one guise, whether it was illegally or through temporary protected status, we have to enforce those actual norms, revive the rule of law. Big emphasis on empowering local police officers to enforce the law as well. So those are some of the practical things that came out of tonight. One area where we found consensus, which I thought was pretty surprising, Jesse, is I also met with a group of Haitians in town beforehand. I met with city officials beforehand. And even with the group of Haitian community leaders, I posed the question to them and said, you know what? If somebody's going to be reliant on the welfare state or the entitlement state or government assistance as an immigrant, then I don't think we should let them in. And the thing that surprised me is not only did the people at the town hall agree with that, but even many Haitian migrants, when posed with that question, thought that was a fair criteria too. And I think that's one North Star we can use in our immigration policy going forward. If you're going to be part of the welfare state or a customer of the U.S. entitlement state, you're not going to be able to come to this country legally, and that's how we solve the problem.
That's a really fair assessment. I
love that.
I have a lot of respect for you to talk to both sides. It's so important. Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you so
Let me tell you what, I hope that, a lot of people are pushing Vivek to take the senator seat in Ohio, but man, I think he would be a great cabinet member for Donald Trump. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because not only there's more to the story, that's the thing. Because again, too, there's the details just keep flowing out. Like, you can't make this stuff up. And as much as they all try to deny it, what you see is real. And all these people they've crashed into buildings. They're now locking up all types of all the things you would buy, deodorant and soap and razors and things. They're showing it. Now they're locking them up in the grocery stores and things like that because there's so much theft. Check this out.
None exists. But man, those pleas in that town hall would sure seem to say otherwise, Tommy.
I'd like to personally thank Vivek for going to a town like Springfield, Ohio. As somebody who's from a smaller town in a smaller state, I know how frustrating it can be to get the national media or even mainstream politicians to pay attention to the plight of people. So I want to thank him so much for going and hearing these people. And if not for Elon Musk and X, we probably never would have seen the viral commentary that was coming out of these city council meetings in Springfield, Ohio to begin with. And of course, Donald Trump bringing it up at the debate made it a national issue that the mainstream media could not ignore. But the point of the matter is, these people are struggling. You cannot take a town of roughly 60,000 people and plop roughly 20,000 Haitian migrants into that community from a completely different country and a completely different culture and expect things to go well. And let's be reminded that although these people are under temporary protected status, the Biden-Harris administration and candidate Harris has not told us what they plan to do with these people who have temporary protected status. When is that status going to run out? When it does, where are these people going to go? Let's also keep in mind that those flights that bring in refugees and other migrants, those flights have begun again. Hundreds of thousands of people from around the world have been flown into our country and into small communities like Springfield, Ohio, and there is no mention from the Harris campaign about what she's going to do with those flights. We can only assume they're going to continue, perhaps ramp up if she were to be elected president.
But Tommy, why does it fall on Vivek Ramaswamy, of all people, to host this town hall? Shouldn't the elected leaders, both in this town and federally, that allowed this migrant influx to occur, shouldn't they be on the hook to listen to voters' concerns and try to solve their problems?
Well, we know that the Biden-Harris administration is going to ignore mass migration, illegal migration, whatever you want to call it, because they don't want to address this issue and they want to continue it. But I'd also say there's a dirty little secret here, because it's not just Democrat leaders that are guilty of doing this. There are many small town and small state governors that do bring in these so-called refugees, whether they get federal grants for it or they want the cheap labor. This is a bipartisan issue, unfortunately, that both Democrat and Republican leaders need to face the music for. So thank goodness that Vivek brought it to light, because anybody that's doing this to these communities will not be able to hide anymore.
It's an important point. Republicans are on the hook as well. Meantime, Hillary Clinton defending
so let me tell you this. A lot of people never see the actual data. This is the chart that shows you actually the hundreds of thousands that have come over each month. You can see it quickly adds up into the millions. Look at the bottom, right here at the beginning, it's 2020. And then right when it hits in January 2021, it takes the huge big spike. And these are the different programs that they have brought people in. Hey, Vegas Introvert, thank you so much for the super chat. Everybody show Vegas some love in the chat. So you can see that it's been not just the southern border. They've been bringing in people, flying them in. They've allowed them to come through with temporary visa status. They've allowed them to come in through temporary protective status. Look at all the different ways and the different colors. Like, this is the real data that just got released that shows what they've all been trying to do it under everybody's nose. As bad as we are right now, in not being able to pay off our own debt, take care of our own people on Social Security, give them a dang raise, take care of our kids, take care of veterans, homeless. We've got this to deal with. And not only that, we still got the southern border. Look the crazy stuff that's happening at the southern border now.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz joins us now, just endorsed by National Border Patrol Council President Paul Perez, and they are both with us. And gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. Senator, I'll start with you. Your reaction to that?
Look, it is both shocking and sadly not shocking, because this is the pattern of duplicity, of mendacity we've seen from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They deliberately broke the border. They opened the border. You just had testimony there of
they
one
have
sector.
100%. Tracy J. Norby, look, everybody, right now, show Tracy some love. She is such a huge supporter of this channel. We are here to serve you, Tracy. We love you. We thank you for your support. Love that emoji in the chat. Thank you so much. Everybody, show Tracy some love.
Hundreds of potential terrorists coming into this country, and the Democrats doing everything they can to lie to the American people and say this isn't happening. What is happening right now at the border is a humanitarian crisis. It is a public safety crisis, but it is a national security crisis. We are today at a greater risk of a major terrorist attack than any time since September 11th, 2001. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris continue to double down on the same open border policies. So does my opponent who's running against me, Colin Allred, a very, very left-wing congressman who has voted in favor of open borders over and over and over again. And I'll tell you, Rob, Chuck Schumer has been explicit. I'm his #1 target. The Democrats are flooding over $100 million against me in Texas because they want a left-wing open borders Democrat to be elected. And just this past week, Liz Cheney jumped in, and Liz Cheney is campaigning with this open border Democrat along with Kamala Harris. And so I want to say to your viewers, come to tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org. I need your help because there are millions of dollars coming in trying to flip Texas because the Democrats want these open borders to continue forever.
It's unbelievable. And Liz Cheney endorsed.
And just think, it's super important. A lot of people left California because it sucks over there when it comes to politics. It's too freaking expensive. The homeless issues. But check this out. A lot of them have gone to Texas. Texas used to be super red. Now it's turning blue. We need to make sure that we support guys like this if you're in Texas, because somebody who actually says close the border versus somebody who believes just like Kamala Harris, it says let them all in, just use taxpayer dollars, which is 100% unfair.
Boy, what credibility she's lost. Paul, the former Border Patrol official that testified also said that the administration not only flew illegals from California to Texas to kind of spread it around, but also they demanded that agents move them out of the sight of the media. So they're making the country more dangerous. They're trying to conceal that and then also hide it from the media at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. Everything they've done from day one, they wanted to silence everybody in green. So they made sure that the high-level managers weren't able to tell the truth about what was going on.
You hear that?
We've been talking about this since day one because we knew this administration was going to be disastrous. And we've continued. Everything Chief Heidke said was true. They wanted to silence everybody for those reasons. They've ignored this border for the first 3.5 years of the administration. Now they're trying to come out and say they're strong on border security. Nothing could be further from the truth. You're not going to talk to any one of our people out there on the border that's going to tell you things are better or going to get better. It's going to get worse. We can't afford another 8 years of this continuing administration.
Oh, it's psychotic. Senator Cruz, I wanted to get to this this week. The Democrats, they blocked. You had a bill to protect IVF nationwide, which is one of the attack lines they have against Trump in this election, one of the only lanes they have with the American people. This would have ensured states that don't prohibit access to IVF services nationwide. They blocked it, which is so ironic.
Yeah, no, it's deeply cynical. Listen, I strongly support IVF. I think IVF, in vitro fertilization, is an incredible medical miracle. It has enabled millions of men and women who want to become dads and moms to bring babies into the world, to hold a son, to hold a daughter. Over 8 million babies in America have been born through IVF. 2% of all births in America come from IVF. And yet Democrats and the corporate media are scaremongering and making parents fear that IVF is in jeopardy. I drafted legislation along with Katie Britt, senator from Alabama. The two of us did it together. That was a clear, unshakable federal protection in federal statutory law protecting IVF as your right, that no state or local government could ban IVF. And Senator Britt and I went to the Senate floor. We tried to pass our legislation, and the Democrats stood up and objected. And they objected because they don't want to protect IVF as a matter of federal law, because their plan is, and they're doing it right now, to spend millions and millions of dollars of TV ads falsely claiming that Republicans want to take away IVF. That's a lie. All 100 senators support IVF. And if our legislation passed, they wouldn't be able to launch those false attack ads. So the Democrats objected, and they're just playing games.
It's their best.
Do you hear that? That is politics at its best. You pass a bill to protect IVF. It just happens to come from a Republican senator, but yet the Democrats voted down because it's not going to go align with their politics. See, I mean, this type of stuff just gets me so upset because it's a lie to the American people. Jimmy's jamming. Let's go with the super chat. Appreciate you, Jimmy's. Hey, everybody show love to Jimmy in the chat. Let's go. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are blessing us so much today. Man, this is exciting. I'm so glad to be serving you all. This is amazing. But check this out. We still got some more breaking news. Because again, too, this is now making its way. The testament that the Border Patrol chief made under oath before Congress is making its waves, and a lot of people are going crazy over this.
Good evening. Welcome to Washington. I'm Brett Baer. Breaking tonight's startling new numbers showing a
sorry, y'all. I don't know why this is messing up. Let me refresh. What is going on? Sorry about this. Let me try a new. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. There we go.
Good evening. Welcome to Washington. I'm Brett Baer. Breaking tonight's startling new numbers showing a dramatic increase in the number of individuals who may be on the terror watch list, caught trying to enter this country illegally since 2021. And the latest figures don't even account for the known gotaways, those folks who slipped into the country undetected. This comes amid a very serious accusation up on Capitol Hill from a high-ranking border official of interference by the Biden-Harris administration. The former chief of the San Diego Border Patrol says he was muzzled from discussing concerns about terrorism. Correspondent Griff Jenkins starts us off tonight with this. Good evening, Griff.
Good evening, Brett. This is the stuff that keeps the chief of the Border Patrol up at night, the growing threat of a terrorist slipping across our border.
382 individuals whose names appear on the terror watch list were stopped trying to cross the U.S.-Mexico border illegally between ports of entry from fiscal year 2021 to date. This is compared to the 11 individuals apprehended between 2017 and 2020.
Wow.
CBP stats show a more than 3,000% increase, Brett, in the number of individuals caught.
This is what you compare. Trump, 11. Biden-Harris, 382. That's bad.
Between the ports of entry matching the terror watch list under the Biden-Harris administration. Now, the retired Border Patrol chief of the San Diego sector is accusing the administration of muzzling him.
In San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests.
Wow.
The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border.
And San Diego's sector continues to be the busiest in the nation. A local providing this video to Fox showing migrants this week crossing undeterred in the dead of night. This all after CBP twice denied Fox's FOIA requests seeking only the nationalities of the terror watch list suspects, with CBP citing privacy and law enforcement sensitivity concerns. And these, Brett, are just the ones we know about.
Wow.
How many more suspected terrorists or actual terrorists are part of the nearly 2 million known gotaways, will most likely living in your community.
2 million known gotaways have no idea where they're at, what's going on, what they're doing.
No one knows. I pray we don't find out the hard way.
And that's the unknown thing, Brett, is those unknown gotaways. Meanwhile, I got off the phone just moments ago with CBP that did not comment directly on Chief Heike's testimony before Congress, but maintain that they do have a high level of transparency when it comes to the terror statistics encounters on their website, and that they make their Border Patrol chiefs regularly available in interviews and convey their message through social media.
I mean, we've seen some former border chiefs come out and say something similar, but this is someone who hasn't talked out before. It takes a lot of guts to say that on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, it does.
It does. And, you know, Bill Maloogian and I regularly talk about our coverage because we're talking to the same people. And this accusation that Heike made is one that we've heard many times behind closed doors. And they actually, in the case of Chief Heike, he accuses what's known as the Office of Professional Responsibility that investigates people within CBP and DHS for their conduct. He's accusing them of basically being weaponized to try and control a message. I think you're going to hear a lot more about this.
Oh, look at this. Right before the election, too. Because I believe he believes that people need to know the truth. The Biden-Harris administration has been trying to cover it up. They've been trying to say we haven't had a border crisis. They're trying to say they're trying to be tough on the border now. But yet, the facts are the facts. That they muzzled these chief deputy officers that were trying to protect the United States, not allowing these illegals to come in unvetted, all these known gotaways, people, a lot of them terrorists, and like this is just so heartbreaking because it didn't have to be this way. But this is where we're at. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. I just want to say how truly grateful me and my family are to be serving you every single day. We're trying to grow this True Life News family. The links are in the description to join. It's less than $1 per month. And what we're trying to do is do some good in this world and take action. I just want to say thank you to all those that bless us with a super chat donation. Tracy J. Norby. We've got Vegas Introvert. Jimmy's Jammin'. Like, y'all are so good to us, and we are so thankful. And we just want to do the best job that we can to serve you every day. And we appreciate your support. We love you all, and we're here for you. We're here to represent that flag, our freedoms, and more to come on what we're going to be doing in our communities to make sure we bring a positive impact. We love you. We thank you. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.